Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me on another video, which is a pretty special video today. So today marks my 1-year anniversary on YouTube and Instagram. I'm so excited about it. And so on today's video, I thought I would take some time out to kind of share with you my experience so far being on social media and YouTube and just things I've learned along the way, what I enjoy about it, and also answer some questions from you guys. So I recently posted in my stories to ask me whatever question you wanted to ask me, and you guys sent over tons of questions, and so I'm going to be answering those on this video today. So if you're new here on my channel, I hope that you will consider subscribing and also liking this video. If you enjoy my content so far, hopefully you'll stick around. So if you want to know about my YouTube social media experience, make sure to stick around. So the first thing I thought I'd do on this video is say thank you guys. I first wanted to express to you guys how truly happy I am that you guys have been enjoying my content, that you have been giving me so many positive vibes, dropping so many awesome and wonderful words of encouragement, and just really supporting my channel. I really from the bottom of my heart appreciate all of you. So thank you so much. We have finally gotten to 20,000 subscribers, almost 21,000, and I believe I'm at about 13,000 on Instagram, and so it's only because of you. Can't do this without you, of course. And so I definitely wanted to tell you how much I appreciate you guys, all of you. There's so many talented, amazing, and wonderful people I have met on this platform, and so I'm just super grateful and I'm super appreciative that you guys see value in me in some small way and you want to continue supporting my channel and watching, and so I appreciate all of you. So I first wanted to say thank you. So now what I thought I would do is go ahead and answer all of your questions, right? That's the exciting part of this video because I love getting feedback from you guys, kind of see what you're thinking and what you're wondering about me, because I know sometimes I can come off as a pretty private person, and I am for the most part. I don't share everything on social media because I just think it's dangerous to do that, and I just like to keep some things to myself. So I thought it would be super cool to just answer some of your questions. So again, you guys did drop me several questions on Instagram, so I'm gonna try to get through as many as possible in this time frame without this video getting too long. So let's go ahead and start with that first. So I'm just going to pull up my Instagram and I'm going to go to those questions, and we're just going to start from the bottom, work our way up, and see where that takes us. So the first question here, and I'm going to try to shout out whoever gave me the question, and if there are any duplicates in questions, then of course I'm not going to reply to all of them, because if it's already been addressed, then I wouldn't need to. So the first question is from Plan Good Jai. And that says, how do you manage your time between family, yourself, and keeping up with YouTube? So I would definitely say it's because I plan. That's the only way that I am able to get anything done, really. And so because I plan my whole day out, it really helps me to prioritize and to really figure out what's important and strategize to figure out, how to structure my day. So if I wasn't planning, I would definitely say that my life would be in shambles. But because I plan, it really kind of helps me to make sure I have a effective day and a productive day. And so that's why planning means so much to me, and it's very important to me because I need it. Otherwise, my life would be crazy. And so I would definitely say that's how I prioritize, by planning. And what I also do is anything that I can't accomplish, I push. So I'm not afraid to push something to the next day. I don't always accomplish everything on my to-do list. Sometimes I just can't. It's just impossible. And so I find that if I push it to the next day, then that lights a little bit of a fire underneath me, because I know that I pushed it and I want to make sure that I get it done and I'm not pushing it to the next year. So I try to, even if I push it, try to still get it done in a reasonable amount of time, and so that way I could check it off. Because if you're like me, you like having that little line crossing out what you've accomplished, or that little check mark next to what you've been able to do, and it really just lets you see what you're accomplishing during the day. So I would just say that that's it. That's how I have to plan, or else I would not get anything done. So hopefully that answers your question, and thank you so much for sending that question over. So the next question is from Crebo. I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. It's Kreahbobeah. So not quite sure how to pronounce that. But the question is, what was the hardest part of getting started on your YouTube social media journey? So I think I would say the hardest part is confidence and feeling like I can do it, and that, that I have good enough qualities where people will find me interested and want to watch and want to follow me, because I struggle with that sometimes. And I know some of you probably do as well, because I do get lots of feedback from people saying that they're very apprehensive about starting on social media and YouTube because they just don't feel like they have the confidence, and they don't feel like they're interesting enough people to where people will want to follow them, if that makes sense. So I too struggle with that as well, because I'm human. I'm a normal person just like everyone else. I just happen to put my life out here a little bit more so than most people do. And so I would definitely say that that was a huge thing for me. And so once I got past that, and I'm still not quite past it, I still struggle with that daily, just that feeling. And then also the fact that you're really putting yourself out there. I mean, you're opening yourself up to scrutiny, to hateful comments, to just, everything that comes with being on social media. And so you have to be prepared for that. And so I wanted to make sure that I was prepared for that, because my feelings get hurt just like everybody else's. And, I don't always like to read certain comments, and I just, I feel like, sometimes people are a little bit mean. And so I just wanted to make sure that I was ready for that, if that makes sense. So that was a big holdup for me. And so once I kind of got to a good place, then I was ready to go, and you couldn't stop me. All right, so the next question is from the Pineapple Planner. Is it difficult keeping up with all the content you put out? If so, is it fun at the same time? I would definitely say it is very difficult keeping up with all of the content I put out. As you guys know, I pretty much do a video a day, and sometime like this week I did 2 videos every day, except yesterday I did 3. So I don't know what I was thinking. I'm crazy. And so it can become a lot, especially the way I like to do it, because I'm a little bit of a stickler for quality content. I like my lighting a certain way. I like transitions in my intros. I like a good intro. I like music. I like all that within my video to make it work. And so because of that, it could be to my detriment sometimes, because I overdo it. Well, I don't overdo it, but I spend a lot of time editing and filming and all that whole process. But I love it. It's absolutely the best part for me. I love, and I am intrigued by video editing, filming, the whole process. To me, I just love it. And so that's why I'm okay with putting that extra time in, because I feel like it doesn't feel like work. It's just what I love to do. And so it doesn't quite feel the same as maybe it would feel to someone else who doesn't enjoy doing that. And so to me, it's fun. And so I would definitely say, yes, it takes a lot of work. It is very difficult to balance it all. If you're doing it like me, because not everybody does a video a day, but if you are doing it like that, or you're putting out, 2-3 videos a week, to me is still a lot. It's a huge process. It takes a lot of work. It's difficult, but for me, it's fun. I don't know how others feel about it, but I love the whole part of the process, and so I enjoy it. And so I would definitely say, yes, it's difficult, but because it's fun, it kind of balances itself out, if that makes sense. So hopefully that answers your question, and thank you so much for asking it. So the next question is from Pinky14 and Ask Kaiser 16. They pretty much asked the same question, which was, how did you begin your journey? And that is a hard question for me to answer, because I can't pinpoint like one moment where I just had like an aha moment and I was like, I'm doing YouTube. I can't think of that exact time in my life. I'll just say this. I have always been entrepreneurial spirited. I've always been driven. I've always been street smart as opposed to corporate America smart, because I do come from a background of corporate America. I have been in corporate America pretty much all of my adult life. The past 8 years have been all entrepreneurship, and I love it. And so because of that, it was really like a no-brainer to me, because again, that's my passion. And so I just kind of did it. I didn't really, again, have that moment where I said I'm doing it. I just started. I started planning, and once I started planning, then I said, let me film the process. Why not? Because I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of planner girls that I aspired to be like. And once I started watching all those videos, I got intrigued by it, and I just decided to do it. I mean, hopefully that answers your question, because I just can't give you an exact answer, because it was just like, during that time in my life that I decided to start a channel, I just started the channel, and so I did have a channel in the past that I kind of didn't really work with. It was a hair tutorial channel, and it kind of fell off. I only did like 2 or 3 videos, and then I was like, whatever, I'm not doing this anymore. And so I don't know why I stopped doing that then, but then once I got into the planning world, and I started watching all of these YouTubers, and I started to really enjoy planning. Then I just said, why not create a channel? And so that's pretty much how I got started. And also I'll say that I didn't decide to do it for any monetary reasons. That wasn't driven by that. I wasn't thinking, I'm gonna make so much money on YouTube. I was just thinking that right now I enjoy planning. Doesn't hurt me to start a channel, so why not do it, and we'll see what happens. And so that's why I started it. I know it's not like a super interesting answer, but that's it. It's just as simple as that. Okay, so the next question is from My Life Well Planned, and it says, how long were you planning before you started your channel? I would say I was planning off and on for maybe about 6 months to a year, but really serious about 3 months prior to starting my channel. And I absolutely love planning, the same back then as I do now. And I just think that there's so many more tools and stickers and planners and stuff right now that are out that make planning a lot more interesting. Whereas before, when I started planning, there was really only a couple things out there. And so now I love how versatile the community is and how creative things are now and how much is out there to make planning more interesting. So I would definitely say probably about 3 months serious. All right, so the next question is from Redline018, and it said, what made you want to share your journey with the world? I don't know what made me share my journey with the world. I guess, like I said earlier, is I just decided to just start filming on a whim, and I wasn't thinking about anything like in terms of like, you know, if I'm going to inspire anybody or if people are going to, I mean, I did think about like whether or not people would like me and think I'm interesting enough to want to follow me and everything, but I was just really thinking, why not? And so, you know, like I said, there was not an aha moment where I was like, man, I just, you know, I want to do this. So I don't know, it's really hard to answer that question because I just kind of start doing it, and I just, you know, I didn't really think of where it would take me and the fact that I would be even here, even though I have so much more to do and I have so much growth and so many goals. I just never thought I would even be doing this video today. So I'm just grateful and humbled by the whole experience, to be honest with you. So it's hard for me to answer that question because I just did it. That's, you know, in a nutshell, I just pretty much just started. The next question is from Miki725. What have you learned from this 1 year experience here on YouTube? I learned that there are so many creative, awesome, amazing, inspiring women out there and men. And I just learned that there's just so much creativity out there, and I absolutely love it. It's like a whole world outside of my craft room. You know, all I really knew was like what was inside of my head. I didn't really explore anything else. I just kind of stayed in my little box here. But now that I'm kind of branching out and I'm exploring other things, I just see so much talent, and it's amazing. And so that is one thing that I've learned. And I also have learned that YouTubing is hard. It's hard work. So don't let anybody tell you that it's not, because it is. There's a lot to it. A lot goes into this whole process. And I'm learning that the hard way. Well, not the hard way, but I'm learning that because I'm doing it. And so before, you know, when I used to watch a video, I used to get so annoyed by the ads, and I was like, you know, I just didn't really understand why, you know, because I just thought you know, I came to watch a video. Why do I have to see all this stuff? And, you know, it just seems so easy. I could do that, you know, like whatever. It's just easy peasy. And so now, since I'm doing it and I'm actually experiencing the whole process of it all, it's a lot of work. And so I learned that, you know, very early on, that, you know, it takes a lot to get to this point of, you know, filming and editing. That whole process is just a lot of hard work. It's fun work to me because I enjoy it. And, you know, I may not feel the same way as others do about that part of it. But to get from point A to point B, it's just a lot of work. And so those are the two major things that I've learned, is that it's hard work and that it's a lot of creative people out here on this platform. And so I appreciate that. So the next question is from Stephanie with an E and an H on the end _. So Stephanie EH _ What motivated you to start a YouTube channel? So I think I pretty much answered that. I'm pretty self-motivated. I've always been a go-getter. And so once I figured out that this was something I wanted to do, and I got past all of those things that we discussed earlier, there was no stopping me. And there still is no stopping me, because I'm going to keep on going until I get to the goal that I want to get to. And so, I'm motivated by other people to a degree, but mostly I'm pretty self-motivated. And so I just started it, and here we are. The next question is from Char950, and it says, when and how did you start planning? So I already addressed when I started planning, about 3 months prior to starting my YouTube channel. I've been on YouTube for a year. And how did I start planning is, I'm not sure how I started planning. That's actually an interesting question. I'm not sure. I think I probably just started watching lots of YouTube videos on planning. I probably maybe bumped into a video and then I was intrigued by it, and then I just started looking at other videos, and then all of a sudden I was buying my first planner. So I think that's it in a nutshell. I just kind of bumped into the whole planning community, and I've always been a creative person, and so it's kind of right up my alley because I've always loved like arts and crafts and like scrapbooking and things like that. And so I don't know, here I am, just based off of probably just bumping into it. I don't quite remember, but that makes sense as to how I would have started planning. And once I started planning, I couldn't stop. So that's it. Hopefully that answers your question. And thanks so much for asking that question. So the next question comes from Her Lovely Plan, and it said, what are tips do you have to increase subscribers on YouTube? So I would say the main things are to be authentic. So be true to yourself. Don't let anybody sway you or make you become someone other than you are. There are people who will love you for being exactly how you are, so do not change that. And the second thing I would say would be to interact with the community. Make sure you're involved, make sure you're commenting on people's videos, make sure you're just kind of communicating with people and staying in tune with different, things that are going on within your niche of a community, and just be all in. And people will see that and they'll want to interact with you, and they'll want to know more about you, and they'll want to subscribe to you, and all of those other things will come. And then I will also say to be consistent. Like, that is probably one thing that has contributed to the success of my channel, is that I'm pretty consistent, as you guys probably know by now. I pretty much do what I'm going to do day in and day out. I don't really variate from that. And that's kind of gotten me a long way. So I would definitely say to be consistent, and to make sure that if you say you're going to do something, you do it, and come up with a schedule and just stick to that schedule and be consistent with it. I would definitely say that's a huge thing. Probably the biggest thing is consistency. And then the other two things as well, make sure you're authentic, because people can see right through you. And then make sure that you are totally all in with this whole planner community, or whatever community or niche that you are involved with, or that you want to start a channel with. So I would definitely say those things will be essential to your success. All right, so the next question is from Planning Gabe, and it says, how do you like being a stay-at-home YouTuber? I love it. I love it. I love the fact that I am home for my kids when they get off the bus. They know mommy's home. They know anything that they need. I'm here to support them. And I just love being here with them. And I feel like I accomplish so much more by being at home. And I also feel that if I was to go out to work every day and I would come home, I would still be doing the same exact things I'm doing now, except I have more time now because I'm home all day. So I absolutely love it. And I feel like I have accomplished so much by being home, and I feel like I'm kind of like living my dream almost. I'm not where I want to be, of course, because I have so much more to do. I have so many more goals that I want to achieve, but I do feel like I'm in a good place right now, and I really, really love where I'm at. And I'm just looking forward to the growth and what the future has to offer. So I would definitely say I love it. I love being an at-home YouTuber. Okay, so the next question is from Breeze Planner. It says, when you started planning, did you always want to YouTube? What made you finally start? I think I addressed that as well earlier, but I will say that I didn't always want to YouTube when I started planning. I didn't even think about YouTubing. I used to just watch other people's YouTube videos, and then eventually I started my own YouTube channel, but I didn't initially think either way about it. I wasn't like, yeah, I want to do it, or no, I don't want to do it. I just didn't think about it. So hopefully that answers your question. And yeah, hopefully that answers your question. So the next question is from 1-800-JEN. She actually has two questions. The first question is, how do you persist even if people comment but they don't bother to hit the like button? I don't know if they comment and don't hit the like button. Do you know that? Like, can I find that out? Because I don't know if they comment but don't like a video, unless I'm not looking at my analytics correctly. I don't know how to tell that, so I don't even think about it one way or the other. I'm just appreciative for those people who do comment and do like, and those are the people who I interact with. If you stop on my channel and you don't like the content, I I don't even think about it. I have to be honest, I don't. And I don't think about those who dislike my videos either, because the amount of people who like them compared to those people who don't like it is just very minimal. So I just try not to think about that. I try to look at the good things and the good qualities about YouTube, because it's always going to come with negative things, but I think the positive things far outweigh the negative things, so I just don't think about it. That's a good question though, but I just don't think about it. I don't know, maybe some people do, but I just don't think about it, because I don't think I would know, because I don't know if they comment but don't hit the like button. I'll have to explore that. I'll have to look into that. The next question from 1-800-JEN is, do you worry about oversharing one day? I don't really worry about oversharing one day, because I have a parameter, or I have a threshold, and I know that I'm not going to go outside of that threshold, because I just already have set that in place. So I do think that's important when you're starting out. Make sure you know what your limitations are and don't go over those limitations. And so I try to have that already set prior to. It's already in my head. I already know where I'm not going. Like for me, I'm not getting involved in any drama. I'm not commenting. I'm not getting involved. And so I'm not going to overshare in that regard, because I'm not going to get involved. And then also in terms of like maybe being too personal with my family life, I know certain things I'm not going to share. Like I'm not going to talk too much about money, budgeting. I might touch on it a little bit. I do actually want to get into more budget videos, but there's only a certain amount that I would share, because I don't want to overshare. And I don't want to get too personal, because I think it's a danger there. I definitely think social media is the devil in some regards, depending on how you treat it and what you do on social media. It can get you in trouble. And so I try to be very, very mindful of that. And then, you know, I just know what I'm not going to do and what I'm going to do. I have that already set in stone. And so as long as I don't go outside of those parameters, I think I'm good. Now, if I start to, then I'm gonna have to put myself back in check, and I'm gonna have to reevaluate this whole thing and change some things if I need to. But I try to be true to myself, and I try to set goals and set, you know, stopping points where I can say, okay, you're doing the most. Don't do that anymore. And that helps me. And so I definitely think if you're gonna start a YouTube channel, if you're thinking about getting on social media, set that up initially before you even start. And so that way you know where your stopping point is, and you know how not to overshare, because I think that is important. So I appreciate you asking that question. And so let's move on to the next question, which is from Team Can Be. I think I'm saying that correctly. What made you start a YouTube channel? I think I answered that as well. And then the next question is from LovingLife_2286. What has been your biggest struggle? So I think my biggest struggle has been, well, first we touched on it earlier, which was confidence. Just being confident enough to know that, you know, I got to take the good with the bad. You know, sometimes there's bad things that happen, and sometimes there's, you know, a lot going on that I try to stay out of. So I think that's a big struggle, is that I want to make sure that I maintain a good reputation. And for me, like, integrity is super important to me. Making sure that I'm being an encouragement to people. I'm not stumbling anyone. Faith is very important to me. So I want to make sure that I'm modest, and, you know, I'm just very humble, and I just do things the right way without affecting anyone in a negative way. And so that's very important to me. So I do struggle with that, just making sure everything I'm putting out there is going to be encouraging and not be a pitfall to anyone. So that's a big thing I struggle with. And so I make sure that I scrutinize everything with a fine-tooth comb, and I make sure that I don't say or do anything that could cause any harm to anyone mentally or anything. And so that's a big thing for me, and hopefully I've been doing a good job of that right now. And so yeah, so that I struggle with that a lot, but I'm just hoping that I'm doing a good job, and that people find me an encouragement and an inspiration, and not see any negativity that comes from me that can affect them in a harmful way. So hopefully that makes sense. So next question, because I can talk about that a lot. Faith is very important to me, and I'm very passionate about it. All right, next question is it financially worth it? I can't seem to get a straight answer about it, and that comes from Divine Plans. So I can only speak from my experience here on YouTube, and for me, it's worth it. It's a part-time income. I do have other shops. Of course, right now, it's not where I would be if I was back in corporate America, but for a part-time income, I think it's pretty good. A little bit later during this video, when I talk about like the YouTube statistics and my whole experience overall, and like some challenges and things, I'll talk a little bit more about money and like things like that, because I did get frustrated starting out when people didn't want to share things with me, and like everything was so secretive, and like nobody wanted to like share like real-time statistics and like what can I expect. And that was a little frustrating, but I understand why, because some people are private about that thing. They just don't want to share those types of things. So I completely understand it, but I do tend to love those channels where they're completely transparent and they're like, look, real talk, this is what you make. This, is it worth it? Yes, it is. No, it's not. Whatever. I wanted to know. I appreciate those people who were really keeping it real with telling me the real real talk with what I could expect here. So stay tuned. Later in this video, I'm going to share with you like a breakdown of my whole entire experience and what I think. So hopefully that answers your question for now, but I will answer a little bit more later. Next, and that is from, I said Divine Plans. Next question is from Shelly, and that says, I'm also a huge Serena fan, but what were your thoughts on her reaction to the ref? So let me just say this. We don't know their struggles. We don't know what they've had to experience in their life. So, if I disclaim it with that, because we don't know that, we don't know the frustrations there, and we don't know the real trigger that kind of set her off. But I do feel that she should have let it go. I feel like she let them get in her head, and that's why she lost. Because, she had to just let it go, moved on, realizing who that person was. You know the track record of him. You know what he's all about. Let it go. Focus on the championship. Have fun. Don't also get in the girl's head, because she could have easily got in the other girl's head and then she could have lost, and that wouldn't have been fair. So I just think she should have let it go. That's all. I don't have too much of an opinion on that, because I love Serena and I love tennis in general, and I love what they've accomplished, and she's a superstar and she's made history. She's broken all kinds of records. The girl is the bomb, okay? The girl is awesome. But I do feel like she should have let it go, and maybe she would have had more of a chance, because tennis is very much a mind game. So once you let someone get in your head, you're not going to win. So that's my thought on that. And I'm glad you're a super huge tennis fan, because I love the sport as well. So I love to meet someone who's as passionate about tennis as I am, because I do play. Do you play? Let me know. All right, so the next question is from Lacoste. I'm going to mess all that up. Natasha, I think that's your name. How often do you film your videos, and do you edit the same days? So I'm going to tell you my ideal schedule, and I'm going to tell you the schedule I'm doing right now. So my ideal schedule is to either have videos filmed in bulk and ready to go and just post them throughout the week. And then my secondary goal type of schedule would be to film a day in advance. And that's what I have been trying to do for a little while. But for some reason, I couldn't quite get in the groove of it. So I would love to film, like, let's say I have a video that needs to be posted on Wednesday. I'm filming that video on Tuesday, editing it and posting it at midnight on Wednesday. And then that way I have my whole day to myself on Wednesday. I'm not thinking about filming or editing. All I can do is just focus on my family and focus on my shops, because I do have that to do as well. I have orders I have to get out all the time. And so that would be my ideal schedule. Now, I'm not doing it like that right now, though. How I'm doing it is I am filming and editing all in the same day for the most part. And although it's working and I'm able to actually do it, it is quite time consuming. And I don't think that it's going to work for the long term. So I'm hoping that eventually I can get in the groove of my schedule and making things work the way I want them to work. So right now, yes, I am filming and editing all in the same day. Yeah. And it takes about 4 to 6 hours. I'm just putting it out there. It takes a long time, only because of the way I do it. Now, there are a lot of other people that do it the way I do it, in terms of like having a decent intro and putting transitions in their videos, lighting, and making sure everything's set up properly and all that. There are tons of channels that are doing that, and I'm sure they take about the same time as I take, maybe longer. But because I'm doing so much extra work with my editing, I think that's what makes it take so long. And I'm not going to stop, because I like the way I edit and I like the way my video style is now. And I think it took some time to get to that point. And so, yeah, so that's it. So I do film and edit all in the same day for the most part. Okay, so the next question is from Placa for Life. Placa for Life. I hope I'm saying that right. How was it getting used to planning with Happy Planner? What inspired you to keep going? I didn't have to really get used to Happy Planner, because I have always loved Happy Planner. I used Erin Condren prior to Happy Planner for a little while, just a very short time. I actually have some planners back there because I stopped using Erin Condren because I didn't have the flexibility that I wanted. And if you watch my video on the 5 reasons why I switched to Happy Planner, you know all of this already, but I had to switch to something that was more flexible, more customizable, and that allowed me to put things in, pull things out, switch things up. I needed that in my life. So I didn't have to get used to Happy Planner because once I started using it, I loved it, and I never went back to anything else. I did try a traveler's notebook for some time, but it didn't quite work out the way Happy Planner has worked for me. And so hopefully that answers your question, but it didn't really take any getting used to. I just had to find the planner. Once I found the planner that worked for me, I stuck to it. What inspired you to keep going, to keep planning? Because it worked for me. Like literally, it worked for me. And so because you know, a lot of times when I find something that works for me and it helps me to thrive and helps me to be productive, I just keep doing it. I don't try to be too outside the box with anything. I try to stick with what works. If I find what works, I stick to it. And so that's what inspired me. The fact that it worked for me. Planning worked to help me keep organized and help my family stay on track, and to help me to remember everything I needed to do during the day, during the months, allowed me to be creative, because that is a part of the process for me. I have to be creative, and it allowed me to have all of those things all combined in one. And so that inspired me to keep going. So hopefully that answers your question. You actually have 2 questions. Your second question is, Happy Planner is too expensive. Will there ever be a giveaway? If not, what can we do to get one? Okay. You are probably the first person I've ever heard say Happy Planner is expensive. Happy Planner is very well priced. It's not expensive. Now, there are some planners out there that are expensive. Erin Condren being one of them. Her planners are super pricey. Everything about her line of products is pretty pricey, but it's great quality. I love Erin Condren stuff. Her stuff is super cute and very stylish, very functional, but it's a bit pricey. To me, Happy Planner is kind of a middle ground. So you're the first person I've heard say that. So that's interesting. I'm not sure if there'll ever be a giveaway from Happy Planner in terms of planners and stuff. They have done giveaways in the past, and I have done giveaways myself, and there are several other planner babes who do giveaways. So you just have to be in tune with who's giving away what at what time. So hopefully that answers your question. In my opinion, Happy Planner is not expensive. It's very well priced. And I'm not just saying that because I love them and because I am a part of their ambassador team and I am an influencer for them. I'm genuinely saying that they're not that expensive at all. But I can understand how maybe you feel that way. Maybe in your area it's a little bit pricey, depending on where you live. I guess if you're out of the country, maybe. I don't know. But here in the US, it's not expensive. Okay. Oh, actually, you have 3 questions. What is your favorite thing about YouTube? I love that there's so many different types of channels on YouTube. I mean, you can watch a hair tutorial, then you can turn around and watch a music video, then you can turn around and watch a cooking video, then you can turn around and watch a planning video. So there is so much out here on YouTube that inspires me. I love so many different channels. It's like TV for me. Like, we almost have considered cutting out our cable, which now we have an online streaming service for cable because we're just not paying for cable because there's so many other services and there's so many other things out there that you can watch and do as opposed to having your traditional cable service. So I just think that there's so many inspiring channels out there, so many creative people out there, so much content out there on YouTube. So I love that about YouTube. And I love the fact that they have allowed people like me to be a creator on their platform, to be able to generate an income, to be able to meet other people, to be able to be inspired, and just, I don't know, I just love YouTube. I love everything about it. I think it was an awesome and brilliant idea, and it's come a long way, and I just enjoy watching it, and I enjoy having the opportunity to share my craft here on YouTube. So there's a lot of things that I can say about why I love YouTube and why so many of you out there love YouTube as well. So that's your 3rd question. So yep, so that's it. So the next question is from Tisha Diane, and that said, how did you get started with Happy Planner? I want to go to Disney, haha. So how I got started with Happy Planner, again, like I said earlier, is that I just went to the store and picked one up, I believe. I can't really pinpoint the exact moment, but I wanted customization in a planner, and I really wanted to go all in. And so once I saw it and I used it, I was hooked. And so that's pretty much it. And in terms of going to Disney, you can go. You just may not go with a squad or with a heavy planner, but you can go to Disney, totally. Maybe we can go together one day. So next question is from Purple Violin Planner or Player. How did you learn all about YouTube, editing, filming, etc.? Your videos are so pro. So guys, it took me a long time to figure out all the little teeny little bit that I know about YouTube. I feel like I have so much to learn. I have so much to explore. I have so much training to really dig into. I feel like I only kind of hit the surface. And so I just watch a lot of YouTube channels, and I try to figure out, like, I'm very much a person where I can look at something and then I can figure out how to do it. And so I do that even when it comes to like DIY stuff and like crafting and stuff. Like I'll really look at it, I'll pull it apart, I'll just really dig into it, and I look at every little thing about it. Like I even look at commercials differently now. I look at movies differently now. I look at the transitions and I'm like, how did they do that? Like what? There has to be something out there that I can find that I can make my video look like their video, or I can make, my editing look like their editing, or whatever. I don't know. It's just so much out there that you can learn. And so I just started watching lots of YouTube videos, because to me, when it comes to editing and stuff, I think that's really the only way that you can learn is by watching other people's tutorials. I love Peter McKinnon. He's my fave. His videos are so awesome. I strive to be like him one day. He is just amazing. And so I just find those channels that I really like, and then I try to figure out how to do what they're doing without copying them, but to try to just get a little piece of what they're doing and implement it in my videos, which can hopefully make it better. So I'm always putting new information in my head and always learning new tricks and things that I can do to make my channel better. I'm always doing that every day, day in and day out. I'm just always trying to figure out how to make my content more valuable to you. Hopefully that answers your question, and I appreciate that question. Next question is from Anna Cruz Plans. How do you stay consistent? So I don't know. That's a hard question to answer. I just stay consistent. I don't know. That's really a hard question. I would just say I just have a routine and I stick to that routine. So I know day in and day out, this is what I'm doing. And I think also because I'm at a point right now where I'm monetized on YouTube. And so because I'm monetized, that does drive me a little bit more to stay consistent and to make sure that I am putting out the content, if that makes sense. And so I would definitely say, money does help. And although I'm not like rich off of YouTube, or I'm not like where I want to be, it does help me to be able to want to put the content out there, if I'm being real about it. And so a routine is very important. So develop a routine and just stick to it. It's just as simple as that. Okay, next question is from Super973 Mom, and it says, how did you get started as an entrepreneur? So how I got started as an entrepreneur, just to give you a little background, I have been in corporate America most of my life, all of my adult life, up until about 8 years ago, where I left my corporate job. I was a project manager at a software company, or a project coordinator. Tomato. And so I decided from that point that I didn't want to go back. I did not want to go back. I realized that I am not built for working a 9-to-5. I'm just not. I'm more entrepreneur spirited. I'm more street smart than book smart. I'm more of a go-getter than, some other business minded type of people. I'm just not built that way. And so because of that, I knew that I was going to have to do something else. And so I never looked back. Once I left my corporate job 8 years ago, I just never went back to it. I'm really, at this point in my life, I don't think I'm any good to any company, because I'm just an entrepreneur at heart. My whole family is, my brothers and sisters, all of us are entrepreneurs except my sister. She does work a 9-to-5. But otherwise, we're all working for ourselves. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And it's the way our mom programmed us. Now, she was always in a high level position at her job. So she was always traveling, and she was highly educated. And so, I think there was still something in her that wanted to be an entrepreneur. but she knew that that wasn't going to feed her family. And so because of that, you know, she just stuck to that 9 to 5, which is okay. It's totally okay. But she instilled something in us without knowing it. And so now because of that, all of us have that entrepreneur mindset. And I really believe my kids are going to have that too. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I think any hustle's fine as long as you can be productive and you can feed your family and you can make it all work. I'm all about it. So whatever direction they decide to go in is fine with me. But for me, I am no good to any company at this point in my life. I am only good doing this type of thing because this is what I love. It doesn't seem like work to me. I'm enjoying it. And so I'm all about the ride, and we're going to keep this ride going until we can't do it anymore. And so that's how I got started. I started a business called Painted Cookies, which was probably my most successful business. We were actually featured on our local news program. And so that was super exciting and an amazing experience. And so once I started that business, I did that for a while and I had some success with it and I really enjoyed doing it. And then I spun it into other things and then other things. And then that brought us here. And I'm not quite sure what my aha moment was to get me to this point, but I'm here and I'm glad I'm here. Okay, next question is from Planner Mom XO, and that said, how did you grow so large in 1 year? So I think how I grew so large, I really don't know. I followed a formula. I figured out what the formula was and I just stuck to that formula. I was consistent with that formula. I did a lot of research to figure out like what I should be doing. I followed those channels. I looked at those channels to see what they were doing and I tried to implement it within my channel. And I know I'm not doing everything right. I know there's still a lot of things I have to work on, I have to get better at, and I have to implement and I have to learn. But I'm willing to put the time and effort in. And so I would just say to do your research and find out what the formula is for that niche that you're in and just keep following the formula. Don't deviate from the formula. Once you see that it works, keep pushing towards it. And so what my formula is to film a video a day. Now, I typically don't film on the weekend. Sometimes I'll do a Saturday video, but for the most part, it's just Monday through Friday. And that was through research that I had done that said, you know, if you film a video a day, your chances of success will be greater. And if you're consistent, and if you post stuff during this time of day, and if you do things like this, then this is where you will get to. And it seems to be working for me. And so because it's working, I'm not going to change it. Now, there are days when I'm super exhausted, but I do have a goal in mind. And I'm thinking once I get to that goal, then I'm going to slow down a little bit. But I will say that I said that 10,000 subscribers ago. I said, I'm going to stop or I'm going to slow down when I get to this point. And I didn't. So yeah, I think, I don't know. I'm always thinking about things. I'm always trying to figure out what I can do next. What's my next move? You know, what can I do to make it better? What can I do to enhance this? What can I do to make it more enjoyable for you guys and for myself? And so I'm always thinking, to my detriment sometimes, I think, because I'm going 1,000 miles a minute and I got to slow down sometimes. So I would definitely just say find the formula that works for you, stick to it. And there is a general formula for everyone, but then there also is a little niche formula. So you got to figure that part out too. But I would just say the main thing is to stay consistent, put out quality content. For me, what I also did is I'm the type of person that goes all out and does everything to a certain degree up front. So whereas some people will say, you know, you don't need to have box lightings, you don't need to have a good mic, you don't need to have a good camera to start your YouTube channel. I believe that. But for me, and the way I operate, I had to do that because that's just how I operate. So I don't think one way is more better than the other, because I still think that you can survive and you can thrive on YouTube without having all of this extra stuff. But to me, something psychological told me that I needed to have all this stuff in order to just go all out, go gung-ho, be all in from the start. And it works for me. For some people, it may not work for them, but it works for me. And I think that that is part of the reason why I've grown so large in a year. I don't know. It could just be all in my head, but I think so. Okay, so we have a lot more questions to get to. Let's see, where am I at now? Okay, so I think I answered Sylvia, New York City. What motivated you to start making YouTube videos? I think I answered that question earlier. Anna Cruz Plan says tips and tricks. I'll do a separate video with that because I can't really give you all the tips and tricks in this video. And then Morcia Bella says, how do you manage to have the time to organize your planner so interestingly? I love it. I just love pretty things. I love planning in a certain way, and it has to be pretty in order for me to want to use it. So I would definitely say I just love stationery. I love stickers. I love making my planner pretty, and that makes me want to use it. Carol Henderson says, how many planners and what are their purposes that you use at one time? So I have one catch-all planner, and within that catch-all planner, I have my weekly view. I have my faith planner. I have a schedule section or a routine section. I have my business planner, and then I do have the wellness planner in there, which I'm not as consistent with because I do use a mini happy planner, and within that planner I have a weekly, and then I also have a fitness planner. So I know it seems like a lot, but it's really not, because it's really just 2 planners, but I Franken plan them both. So I'm going to do a Franken planning 101 video, and I'm going to talk you through like how to Franken plan, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that at that time. So hopefully that appeases you for now. So the next question is from Goddess Plans. Hey girl, how do you stay focused and consistent with your content? And I think I answered that earlier. Yeah, I think I answered that sufficiently. We could talk offline about that if I didn't. Super 973 Mom, I already answered her question. And I answered Planner Mom XO. Nanolrid, how do you make it look so easy? Do I make it look easy? Okay. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's a lot of hard work. Sometimes because of how much more work I put into things, because there's something wrong with me, it takes probably a lot longer than it would take others, and maybe it appears like it's easy, but it's really a lot of work. So I don't know how I make it look so easy, because I didn't think I was making it look easy, because it's not. So I don't know how to answer that question, but hopefully that's sufficient for you, and because I don't really think it's not easy. So the next question is from 108507. How did you become part of the Happy Planner Squad team? So how I became part of the Happy Planner Squad is I just submitted an application. They had an open call, and they were asking for ambassadors for their Happy Planner Squad. And so I just took my photos like the application requested, and then I filled out the paperwork, and it had like lots of questions on there about like, you know, what do you like the most about the planner community? Just questions like that. I answered all the questions, and then I just hoped for the best. And so I was hoping, really hoping I would make the squad. And I would have, you know, been disappointed if I didn't, like everybody else, but life would have gone on. But I'm really grateful, and I'm really happy that they did see something in me enough after this little short period of time to want me to be a part of the squad. I've been having so much fun being on the squad. I've met so many awesome and amazing women, and it's just been an overall fantastic experience for me. So I'm really enjoying myself. And so it's really just as simple as, once they have an open call, be in tune with that, and then just submit the required information that they're looking for, and then say a quick prayer and then just hope for the best, you know. And if you don't get chosen, it's okay. It's not that serious. You'll have many more years to come to reapply, just because if you think about it, they can only select a certain amount of people, and so there are so many creative people out here. So just imagine how hard it was for them to really pinpoint 21 girls out of all of these creative and amazing women on this platform. It's almost impossible. And so just do what they require and just hope they choose you, and if they don't, apply again. And if they don't choose you, then apply again if it's something that you really want, and just see what happens from there. I mean, it's an amazing opportunity if you do get chosen. And so, you know, that's all the advice I can really give you. Just, you know, make sure that you're present on social media, make sure you're constantly posting good quality things, and you're really a happy planner, because they want people who are actually using their products and who love their products. And if you don't, they'll be able to see through that, and you're definitely not going to get chosen. So be authentic. And if you love Happy Planner, just show what you would show anyways. You're not doing anything different than you would do anyways. You're just posting the planner decoration spreads that you would be posting anyways, because you love their products. And so that's all I can say about that. And so if you decide to apply, I'll be rooting you on. So the next question is from the Planner Artist, and that said, when you first started, did you ever think you'd be where you are today? I didn't. I didn't. I used to always look at people's YouTube channels and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like how did they get 100 subscribers? I was like so in awe of certain people like Tina Bopper, like Heather Kell, like Mimi, like Shea Budgets, like all of these amazing people, Michelle. I mean, there are so many amazing people here on YouTube. And I would just look at them and I'd be like really? Jeannie McGarvey. I mean, Kimberly Lauren Crafts. There's so many good channels and I would just look at them like I'm never gonna be there. And I'm okay with that. But I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing and we'll see where it takes me. I didn't have expectations one way or another, but I did used to look at those channels like, I just don't understand how you get 5,000 subscribers. I don't. And so yeah, to be here is just something special. It's really special. So thank you. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. So you got to give yourself some credit because yeah, without you guys, I wouldn't be here. Okay. So next question is Miss B2U. Thank you so much for Kate Spade tutorial. I found wallet planner piece there. Awesome. So glad you did. That's what I'm all about, helping you to find planner piece. Next question is from her as well. Also, know anyone who doesn't want that Mom Life Mini? Thought I'd shoot my shot. You totally did shoot your shot. I don't know anybody who doesn't want it because I definitely want mine and I can't wait to get my hands on it. I haven't even got my hands on it, but I can't wait. But they are selling them in in Hobby Lobby stores. So you can go to your local Hobby Lobby. You should be able to find it there now. So hopefully you're able to find it because you're going to love it. I can't wait to get mine. Not to rub it in your face or anything, but I can't wait to get mine. Okay, so we're down to like the last couple of questions. Queen Kimmy Hearts, do you feel social media has helped your daily life or not? Okay, that's a hard question. I feel like it has helped my life because I feel like I've met so many amazing people and I've learned so much on social media, like particularly like your Pinterest or, YouTube. Those are both platforms where you can search for things to learn. And so I definitely think those type of social medias have definitely contributed to my life. There are some negative parts about social media that I hate. A lot of people have experienced hate on social media. And I have to say my experience has been pretty good. There's many tutorials out there and just lots of ways to learn with certain parts of social media. But there is an evil part of social media too. So you just have to be careful. And so I would definitely say it has enhanced my life in one way, and another way, maybe not so much. But it's all a part of it. You got to take the good with the bad. So last question, I think, is from Yerl1 the Planner Babe. I just started my own Instagram account. For my planning, what tips would you give? I would just say to just post quality photos. Post quality photos. Now you don't have to have like all fancy lighting or anything. Just take them in like natural light is going to be helpful. And then I edit my photos within Instagram itself, and I figured out like how to tweak them to get them the way I want them. So I would just say just post quality photos and just look around you and see what everybody else is doing and learn from others, and that will help you. So I can't like give you too many tips and tricks because I just think it's all about content and sharing quality content, and then also interacting with people. I would definitely say post comments, genuine comments on people's photos. Show them that you care, show them that you're interested in them, and it'll come to you. You'll grow. You'll be amazed at what you can accomplish by just being authentic and consistent. I always talk about consistency. That's the word of the day, consistency. So those are all of the questions. Thank you guys so much for posing those questions, for sending those over to me. It gave me a starting point to, let you guys learn a little bit about me and how I started here on YouTube. So hopefully you enjoyed that part of the video. Now we're going to go ahead and dig into a little bit more about my experience on YouTube, social media, and I'll talk you through like numbers and just give you a little bit more information if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel. Okay, so I'll start with Instagram because I don't have too much to say about Instagram. It's a pretty easy platform. So I started Instagram after I started YouTube, probably about a month in. And what I did is I just started following people who had similar interests to me. And then I just started filling my page up with content, photos, different things that interested me. When I started out on Instagram, I didn't really care so much, or I didn't really try to really focus on the quality of my photos. I just posted. And eventually I started looking around me, see what other people were doing, and then I learned through watching videos and others, and I just really figured out how to fine tune things and get them the way I want, because I'm very much a stickler for the most part about how my timeline looks, or not my timeline, is it my timeline? How my Instagram looks. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. I was very much concerned, or am very much concerned about how my Instagram looks. I like it to look a certain way, and it still doesn't quite look the way I want. I look at others and I'm like, man, I want my Instagram to look like theirs, but I'm still working on it. It's a constant work in progress. And so what I do is I just interact with people, not as much as I think I should. I have a lot of work to do in that regard. So I'm constantly trying to improve with my interaction with others, commenting on people's videos. A lot of times I'll heart it, but I may not like comment on it, and I've got to work on that. And then that's all I do pretty much on Instagram. Is a lot of times is I'll just share whatever I posted on YouTube, I'll share on my Instagram. And then I follow along with the Happy Planner hashtags. And I just really started doing that because I didn't quite know what all of them were. So I figured out what all of them were, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm in tune with those. And that's pretty much all I do on Instagram. I try to post at least 2 to 4 times a day, sometimes more. And that seems to be working. And I'm at about 13,000 right now in a year's period. Or actually less than a year, because again, I started my Instagram after my YouTube. So it took some time, and I'm still trying to grow there. And so, but I love Instagram. It's my favorite platform. I am on Facebook and I am on Twitter as well, but I don't really do too much on those social media platforms because because Instagram is my favorite, and YouTube as well. Let me put my phone down. I'm not answering any more questions. So that's pretty much it about Instagram. If you have any questions, make sure to drop me a comment below. Let me know if you have any specific questions about Instagram. But to me, it's a simple formula when it comes to Instagram. It's just post quality content and be consistent with those posts. Okay, so now we'll talk about YouTube, because that is the main platform that I am on. Overall, even on Instagram, my experience has been phenomenal. And on YouTube, I have to say the same thing. So I did have some hiccups in the beginning on YouTube, because when I started my YouTube back on September 24th of last year, they were going through a transition period. And so they were going through a time where they were trying to change some things up. And so they were changing their guidelines. They were changing up a couple of things. And I kind of got caught up in that transition, and it wasn't fun. And so what happened with me is that I applied for monetization, and I was immediately put on backlog. And so it took me, I think, 9 months to get approved for monetization. And that's not typical. And that was under the old guidelines. And I can't recall exactly what they are, but there are new guidelines now, which is a little bit difficult to achieve. But I had achieved my goals even on the old way, like a month in. So once a month hit and I was already at my goal, I applied for monetization immediately. And I was like, I'm going to get approved right away. And I was excited about that. And so it was a little frustrating to be given the runaround. I had to contact YouTube several times to get them to give me a status on it, and they were very secretive about it, or very they held the information back. They didn't really keep in good communications with us to let us know what we could expect, and so that was a little frustrating. But once I got approved, everything was all good. And so, but the way they did it was a little weird, because they were just like, here's what you were looking for. You were trying to get monetized. Here you go. It was just a little interesting how they presented it and how the email came across. But whatever, I got monetized, and I was super excited about it. And then that's when everything started coming in. And so because I had already built up such an audience and built up such content, and everything was flowing already, by the time I got my first check, it was like $900. No, it was like $700. So that was my first check on YouTube, because you have to get a minimum of $100 before they even cut you a check. So I had already got all that. But even if you think about it, think about all the money that I could have gotten prior to that had I been monetized when I should have been. But I didn't think about that, because I just didn't think about it. I was just happy that I got monetized. And then I also was thinking about the fact that, or I wanted to bring up the fact that, there was no incentive for me to keep doing videos, because I could have easily just said, I'm going to stop. I'm going to wait till they monetize me, and then I'll keep making videos. But I didn't do that. I just wanted to stay consistent, because for me, it wasn't about the money. It was about you all, and it was about giving you quality content. It was about doing what I love. And it was about just staying with it. You know what I mean? Regardless of if I was getting paid or not. Now, eventually I would have been like, okay, y'all. Okay, come on. I'm going to need y'all to get with the program. But early on and up until that time, I wasn't frustrated with the money aspect of it. I was just frustrated with the lack of communication and just the fact that they weren't telling us anything, and they were just stringing us along. And there was a certain point where I didn't think I was ever going to get monetized. And I was like, it was just really frustrating, especially when you did what you were supposed to do, but then they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. But once I got monetized and everything started flowing in, I was happy about it. I have to say I was really happy about it. And then my shop started to increase. Of course, the more visible I was, so I started making a little bit more money on my shops. And so overall, I think I am making I don't know, some people may consider it a full-time income, but I consider it a part-time income because I have goals. I have things I want to achieve, and I just know taxes are coming. When I get ready to pay my taxes and everything, it's not going to be as much as I thought it was. So I haven't done that yet because it hasn't been, the time frame hasn't totally, gotten to that point. So just to give you a numbers, my first check, like I said, was about $700. And then I think my next check was like $900. And I can't remember, I haven't gotten that many checks because it hasn't been that long since I've been monetized. But right now I average between about $1,200 and $1,300 a month on YouTube, just only on YouTube, not with any sponsorships or anything like that. I have been approached by several companies for sponsorships, but I try to make sure it fits within my channel. And I also try to consider the costs, like how much does that particular thing cost. If it's too expensive, I probably am not going to pitch it to you because I'm very mindful of that. And if I wouldn't spend the amount of money on it, then why would you? So I try to think about that. So I do have some things coming up where I'm considering doing them. I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't agreed on anything yet. And I have done some reviews on my channel, which is super fun. And so I'm really trying to take it to the next level and really figure out what's the next step for me in this channel. What are my goals? What direction am I going in? And I think I'm going in more of a lifestyle channel. So I'm looking forward to adding more of that type of content to my channel. Right now, it's really kind of been sticking to planning, but I'm excited about the future for my channel. So I'm looking forward to adding more types of things. So make sure to comment below and let me know what types of things you want to see on my channel. I'm always willing to hear you guys out and to hear what you think you would like to see. So just to talk about the whole experience in terms of money, I think it's worth it. Somebody asked a question earlier, which I told you I would touch on a little bit more later. I think it's worth it. I mean, I would say also is that is with me putting out the amount of content I'm putting out daily. So you have to consider that as well. So I'll break it down like this. On a day when I do a video a day, I make about $50 a day. If I don't put out a video that day, I make about $30. So just to put things in perspective, just to kind of break down the cost difference, I think either one is good. So you just know that you're working a little more harder for that extra $20, but I know eventually down the line, it'll work itself out and it'll be a little bit more on autopilot. Because when I look at some of these bigger channels, they're not doing a video a day. They're only doing maybe a video a week, maybe two, maybe a video every 2 weeks. They're not doing or working as hard as I am. So I know eventually once my subscriber count increases, things will kind of work themselves out. So I'm willing to put that hustle time in now. So that way I can be on autopilot later and I won't have to work as hard as I'm working now. So that's for the future. Right now, I'm hustling my butt off and I'm loving certain aspects of it. Other parts of it is quite a bit of work. But again, I'm willing to stay consistent with it because I know that I love it. Right now, this is what I'm doing. This is what I love doing. And I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. And so hopefully I've addressed all of your questions. I know I did all of the Instagram questions, but hopefully I didn't leave your mouth watering, wanting more. I tried to be as transparent as I could and try to give you as much as I could and break down everything that I know because I still feel like there's so much more for me to learn. And so I'm looking forward to that whole journey. So that's it. I think that's it. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget anything, but I think that is it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You got tons of value out of it. Found some inspiration in it, maybe a couple of things you want to implement. If you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, you will give me a big thumbs up and also consider subscribing to my channel. So thanks again for stopping by. Happy anniversary to me. I am super excited about this whole journey and where I'm headed next. So hopefully you will stick around and take the ride with me. So again, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully I'll catch you on the next video, in which case I'll see you then.